Welcome to the 6th grade Virtual Artifact Museum covering the time periods of westward expansion and the Industrial Revolution.
My artifact is a covered wagon. It is something from the 1870s period. It was for the sick and injured and the women and children.
My artifact is a covered wagon. It is something from the Industrial Revolution time period. It was used to carry many things.
My artifact is the covered wagon. It is something from the westward expansion time period. It was important because it helped them from get to place, and while using it, it helped them from the hot sun.
My artifact is a bonnet. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used for women on the road so they can keep their complexion.
My artifact is the bonnet. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used for keeping the wind and sun out of their faces.
My artifact is a sod house. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used to protect settlers from rain, sleet, snow, hail, and the hot sun.
My artifact is a sod house. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used for sheltering people from storms and other natural forces. It was also used to store items and other resources. My artifact is a sod house. It is something from the westward expansion time period. It was used to not freeze to death in the cold winters.
My artifact is the Chinese peasant hat. It is something from the moving west period. It was used to cover the Chinese when they were in the fields.
My artifact is the Pony Express mochila. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used for carrying mail to the military post and to a station master.
My artifact is the Golden Spike. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was driven down in Promontory Point, Utah. The real one was taken out and put in a museum. They put a regular spike in so the real one was not stolen. The Golden Spike was driven in on May 10th.
My artifact is the Golden Spike. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used to hold together the last piece of track for the Transcontinental Railroad. The spike was completely made of gold and later switched with the regular spike. The Golden Spike was later placed in a museum.
My artifact is the Golden Spike. It is something from the westward expansion time period. It was the last spike put into the Transcontinental Railroad.
My artifact is the steel tip plow. It is something from the American Revolution period. It was an animal-powered machine used for planting and to keep weeds from taking over their plants to sell and make money for their family. If they could not make money for their family, the whole family would not survive.
My artifact is the steel tip plow. It is from the westward expansion period. It was steel because it had to cut through the sod of the Great Plains. It was used for making ruts in the ground so they could plant seeds for crops.
My artifact is the steel tip plow. It is something from the Industrial Revolution period. It was used to plow through sticky prairie soil without clogging.
My artifact is the cotton gin. It is something from the Industrial Revolution period. It was used for taking the seeds out of the cotton to make clothing.
My artifact is the telegraph. It is something from the westward expansion time period. It was used for communication throughout long distances and was coded throughout a series of clicks or beeps.
My artifact is the telegraph. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used for communicating with people.
My artifact is the telegraph. It is something from the telecommunication time period. It was the first step to the telecommunication time period in long-distance telecommunications.
My artifact is an Indian headband. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was something Indians used for their looks. They were also used as a symbol of their culture, like in the Battle of Little Bighorn.
My artifact is an Indian headband. It is something from the westward expansion time period. It was used for decoration and also was worn in battles.
My artifact is the Indian headband. It is something from the westward expansion period. It was used for battles like Little Bighorn and for decorations.